everyone, and welcome back to the breakdown. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a modded server in Minecraft 1.17.1. We're going to go over every single step of downloading and installing Forge, which is what we're going to be using to make our modded server today, as well as different things that you might run into when starting a modded server. Modded servers are tricky, trickier than any other type of Minecraft server. That's including paper servers, which run plugins, or vanilla servers, which is just like survival, right? Any server is easier than a Forge modded server, so keep that in mind going into this. Unless there is a specific reason you want to make a modded server, probably go to one of those other servers, and we do have a video on how to start up one of those servers at the top of your screen. That's going to actually take you to Paper. Paper is the one we'd recommend, even if you just want to play survival. Just install Paper with no plugins, and you'll basically be good to go. It's vanilla survival. So, nevertheless, you can see that at the top of your screen. But if you do want a Forge modded server, I do want to mention that this is going to be, as I said, the most difficult server to start. So on top of the fact that it's the most difficult server to start, it's also going to take the most hardware. Modded servers, by definition, are inefficient. Minecraft mods, by definition, are inefficient. And because of that, they're going to cause lag, they're going to cause all sorts of issues, and you're going to need a decent computer to run one. At least a modern i7 Plus Intel CPU or a Ryzen 5 AMD CPU. Some Ryzen 3 CPUs might be able to pull it off. Running modded Minecraft while running a server is going to probably cause some lag, even on those Ryzen 3 CPUs. Of course, depending on the generation, but you get the idea. You're going to need great hardware, pretty stellar hardware, and you're going to need at least 16 gigs, if not even 32 gigs of RAM to run a modded server, because mods eat RAM. They eat CPU, they eat RAM, they are inefficient. On top of all of that, this is not a server that's meant to be made public. It's only meant to be used for your friends, your family, people you trust, because it's hosted on your own IP address, meaning anyone who gets this server can go out and basically DDoS you, which means take your internet offline, even figure out where you lived under your latitude and longitude coordinates. Now, what if you want a solution to those problems? What if you still want a modded server, but you don't have a good computer? What if you want a modded server, but you don't have to have the hassle of setting up a modded server? What if you want a modded server, and overall, you just want it to be the simplest and easiest way possible? You don't have to worry about DDoS protection or anything like that. Well, that's where Apex Minecraft hosting is going to come in. Go to the first link down below, thebreakdown.xyz/Apex, to start your very own 24-hour DDoS protected Minecraft server that you can set up Forge with in just one click. It's super simple. Like I said, one click to set up Forge. That's it. That's all you have to do is just go in, select Forge in your sign-up process, and you have got a modded server. You can add mods to that server. You can add mod packs to that server in just one click as well. They have over 150 mod packs supported at Apex Minecraft Hosting that will allow you to quickly and easily install them. One click and they are installed. It's super simple. We love and trust Apex so much, we actually host our own server, play.breakdowncraft.com, on them. We put our money where our mouth is when it comes to Apex. They're incredible. They have 24 hours, 7-day-a-week support, and they solve all of the issues you could have when starting a Forge server very quickly and very easily. Hardware, it's on their hardware, doesn't matter. DDoS protection, security, they take care of it, not your problem. Hard to set up? Guess what? It's easy to set up at Apex, like I said, just one click. So you can check out Apex at the first link down below, thebreakdown.xyz/Apex, to get your Forge server up and running the easiest way possible. Thanks to them for sponsoring this channel. Honestly, it really does mean the world to us, and it means the world to us if you go and purchase an Apex server. You won't regret it. Nevertheless, what if you don't want to purchase an Apex server? What if you want to start a server yourself on your own computer? We're going to show you exactly how to do that here, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. The first thing you want to do is go to the second link in the description down below, and that's going to take you here. This is our Minecraft Forge tutorial, and like I said, 1.17.1 will be here when you get to this. Now, it's 1.16.5 right now. 1.17.1 will be here. It comes out, I think, later tonight. For example, Forge dropped today. Should be able to get that video out tonight. This one will come out tomorrow. So, nevertheless, that will be replaced. We can, though, go ahead and scroll down and click on the green Download Forge button once you're on this page. This will take you to Forge's official website, where once you're here, you want to make sure MC 1.17.1 selected there. If it's not, go ahead and select it on the left-hand side over here by clicking on 1.17 and then 1.17.1. Then click on Installer under Download Latest. After a few seconds, it will take us off to Add Focus, where you don't want to click anything on this page. Stop! Don't click anything on this page whatsoever. The only thing you want to click is the red skip button that appears after about 7 to 10 seconds in the top right of your screen. Don't click any other buttons on this page except the red skip button in the top right that appears after about 7 to 10 seconds. When you click on that in the bottom left, you're going to have a file start downloading. Now, as long as this has Forge in the title, you're good to keep it on Google Chrome. You'll need to save it in the center of your screen on Mozilla Firefox, but the same thing applies. As long as it has Forge in the title, you are safe to save it. Now we can go ahead and minimize our browser, and here on our desktop, we do have Forge. Now, the first thing we want to do is install Forge locally. Now, you and your friends will have to install Forge locally in order to play on a Forge server. So, you need to install Forge and your mods. We're going to talk about that in another video later on. But you need to install Forge and your mods both locally and on your server for them to work. That means your friends will need to go through our Forge tutorial here in order to get Forge up and running. You won't necessarily have to do that because we're kind of covering it in this video, but for your friends, they will need to be able to go through this tutorial. So now we can go ahead and right click on Forge, click on Open With, click on Java, and click OK. But for whatever reason, you may have Java here, click OK, and it opened the installer and it worked as it should, like mine did. Or you may get an error saying it's not going to open for XYZ reason. Doesn't matter what it is, you may just get an error, or you may not have Java at all. If in any of those cases, if anything other than that installer that you just saw open happened, what you need to do is download Java. Now you might be saying to yourself, Nick, I already had Java there, I don't need Java. You do need Java. This is the new version of Java. Java 16, Minecraft, Mojang, Paper, Forge all moved to Java 16. And so that means you need Java 16 in order to run Minecraft servers and Minecraft mods. This is a modded server. We need this specific version of Java. Promise you, this has been the biggest support issue we have seen with Minecraft 1.17. You need this version of Java. Pretty much everyone needs it. If they've ran mods in the past and they've worked and they're not working, this is why they're not working. Go through this tutorial. Once you through that tutorial, you should then be able to open up the Forge installer. But if you do still have issues, run the jar fix. This is going to take all the jar files on your computer and link them to Java 16, making them all work together all happily. So now we can go ahead and again, right click on Forge, click on Open With, click on Java, and click OK. Now that you have Java 16, it will open this up without any problems, and we can go ahead and click on Install Client and click OK. So I'm going to download, install, set up some things, get some things working, and basically install Forge for Minecraft. Now, we're going to need to use this installer again, but this is installing Forge locally. You must have Forge locally in order to play on your modded server later, so it's important we go ahead and do this now. Once it is finished, it'll say successfully install client profile Forge, version 1.17. Awesome. Go and click OK, close out of that. We can now right-click, create a new folder, and then we can do Forge server, right like so. Now, the reason we want to create a new folder here is because this folder is where basically all of our server files are going to be hosted. So again, let's go ahead and do that one more time because it was really fast. Right-click on your desktop, create a new folder. Now, I named it Forge Server originally. You can also name it play.breakdowncraft.com. Why would you do that? Because that's our own incredible 1.17.1 grief-protected survival server. 1.17.1 grief-protected survival. Come play with us. Play.breakdowncraft.com is the IP. Now, what we want to do that we have this new folder is right-click again on the Forge installer we downloaded. Again, click on Open With. Again, click on Java. Again, click OK. Once the mod system installer for Forge is open, instead of installing client, we want to click on install server. And we're going to get this big red box. What we want to do is click on the three dots over here on the right-hand side, kind of in this red box. And then on the left-hand side, we want to click on desktop. And then on our desktop, you want to look at the folder you created. In my case, play.breakdowncraft.com. Yours may be called Forge Server or something else. Whatever it is, go ahead and make sure that's selected blue, kind of like that, right? Got that like box around it, for example. It's selected. Now go ahead and click open. The red box will disappear in the mod system installer, and click OK. Now it's downloading these server files for Forge. This is different from Forge itself. This is what allows Forge to run on a server versus what allows Forge to run in Minecraft locally, for example. So we're just kind of sitting here waiting, going through this and letting things download, right? That's all we're doing, just sitting back and waiting. So I'll go ahead and let this download, and I'll see you after a very fast jump cut. So I've actually encountered a very odd issue here. We've got an error here that it failed to run a processor and looks to me like a temporary folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, close out of that. And for those of you that are wondering what just happened, well, it was an issue. As you can see, things did not install correctly there. So how do you fix it? Well, let's go ahead and do what I always recommend doing before we check any log files or anything like that, is just go ahead and open the installer again, right? Now, I did that the quick way instead of doing the open with. That's going to work every time. That time right there, I just did the quick method. Click on install server. We're going to install this again, right? Go to desktop, and then we're just going to install it again on play.breakdowncraft.com and click OK. What's funny about this is right before this video, I always do a quick dry run. I test everything, make sure it's working, and we still had an issue there. So that can happen to anyone. And once Forge has successfully installed the server files, it will say, well, successfully downloaded Minecraft server and installed 1.17.1-Forge. Awesome stuff. Click OK. It's going to close out of that now. And if we open up this play.breakdowncraft.com profile, in here we will find basically some information. Now, one thing that changed with 1.17 versus 1.16 is now you don't have to worry about creating this run.bat file or doing anything like that. Now it's there for you, right? You just double click on it. When you double click on the run.bat file, it's going to start the process of downloading everything that it needs for Forge. So right now, as you can see, it's giving you your mods folder, it's downloading things, and then it's going to fail. It's going to press any key to continue over here. As you can see, you need to agree to the ULA. So if we come back over here, we now have the EULA.txt. Let's go ahead and double click on that, and then change EULA equals false to EULA equals true. TRUE exactly like that. EULA equals true. Then do file save. It's going to save the EULA.txt, and we can close out of that. Now we want to go ahead and again double click on the run.bat file, and it's going to go ahead and start up basically your Forge server. Now, because of how this has changed, right, I do want to mention how you can add RAM to your server. I do want to let this finish setting up though. So let me go ahead and do a quick jump cut until this is set up, and then I'll show you how to add RAM. So as you can see, our server is now set up, and we have two versions of the console. We have the CMD, and we do have the basically GUI version. You can use either one of these, and they are mirrored. I did not mean to do that. Let me get everything back over there. You can use either of these, and they are mirrored. And what I mean by that is, 29.767 seconds there, 29.76 seconds there. Even down to the point, if I want to opt myself, I can type op and then my username, boom, and it will show that both consoles are now opt, right, like so, right? They mirror each other. They're going to be the exact same. It doesn't matter which one of these you use, by the way. You could also, for example, de-op myself and this console, and that's going to work as well. Both of them will work just the same. Now, at this point, your Forge server is set up. You can go join it, and we're going to do that here in 1 second, but first, we want to go ahead and talk about RAM, because now you're going to add RAM by double-clicking on this user_jvm_args.txt. It's a bit different. It's not, how you would normally add RAM to a Minecraft server. It's in this .txt file. So double-click on that, and then you can up your RAM. Now, as you can see, XMX and SMS set the maximum and minimum amount of RAM. So as you can see, XMX is the maximum amount of RAM, XMS is the minimum. So if you want to go ahead and set the maximum to 4 gigs, you would just uncomment that. So basically, you want to do space and then dash XMX 4G, right like so, and that is going to set the maximum RAM to 4 gigabytes. If you wanted to do 2 gigabytes, you would do 2 gigabytes. If you wanted to do, like 2.5, I think also works, right? Or do you have to do megabytes? I think you have to do megabytes, so that'd be 2,500 M, and that's going to be to that 0.5 gigabytes. So that's how you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it what it is by default here by re-commenting that line out right like so. But overall, that is something that you can do if you want to add more RAM. Let's go ahead and join your server. Now, at this point, your friends can't join, but I would recommend joining your server just to make sure everything's working. To do that, you want to open up the Minecraft launcher. We want to click on the little arrow to the left of the play button. We want to select our Forge profile here. You should have a Forge profile. If you don't, go through our video on how to install Forge locally on your computer. It's linked at thebreakdown.xyz/Forge, the second link down below, and it will show you how to get this to appear here if you don't have it there already. Let's go ahead and click play. You understand you're playing mod Minecraft. We're good to go. Click play again. I'm going to go ahead and let Forge open up in Minecraft 1.17.1, and then we're going to join our server. So here we are. Minecraft is open. Let's go ahead and join our server. Now, you're going to do this by basically using your local IP address. Now, there's a few ways to do it. The first is just going into multiplayer, direct connection, and then when you click on direct connection, typing in this, local host. So just local host, all one word, exactly like that, and clicking join server. That's going to join the server right on in, as you can see. Now, if you can't do this, join the server, you do have issues joining the server. It's probably because for whatever reason, localhost isn't working, so we need the actual IPv4 address. Luckily, if you want your friends to join your server, we're going to need that because that's going to be used in the port forwarding process. So to get that, we're going to come over here to the top left of my screen, bottom left of your screen, that little Windows icon on the top or bottom left of your screen, and then we want to type in CMD, right, like this, and then we'll have command prompt. So CMD, and then we'll have command prompt. Go ahead and click on that, and then in command prompt, what we want to do is type IPCONFIG, IPCONFIG, all one word, exactly like that, and hit enter. That's then going to go through and kind of give us a bunch of numbers here. We're interested in 2 numbers. I'm going to go ahead and put these in Notepad, basically just for safe keeping, so we can get them back later. Go ahead and make notation of them, whether they're Notepad, whether they're writing them on a sticky note, doesn't matter. You need these numbers for later. So our IPv4 address is going to be 192.168.1.123, and our default gateway is going to be 192.168.1.1. Now, at this point, you may be wondering, wait, I don't have just numbers for my default gateway. I have numbers and letters. So next to this, you have these numbers and letters. Well, in that case, you probably do have numbers. It's just under it, right? There's a blank line basically at the beginning, and then under that, there's just numbers. We want the one of these that's just numbers, not the one that's numbers and letters. So if you do have 2, go with the one that's just numbers. Now we can close out a command prompt here, and we have our IPv4 address. I keep doing that, and it's kind of annoying. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and back out here, and I'll show you that you can also join your server if we direct connect using our IPv4 address. Now, your IPv4 address is probably different from mine, but that's okay. We can click join server there, and now it's going to join us right on into the server. Let me go ahead and pull up the consoles just to show you. that we did in fact join there, we are good to go. So that's how you can do that. That's basically how you can, join your server locally. It's a good way to do a test server. If you wanted to test something before putting it on like an Apex, you can do it this way without much of any problems. However, what if you do want your friends to be able to join this server? Well, in that case, what we want to do is actually go ahead and port forward. So we're going to close out of Minecraft and we're going to stop our server. Now, how do you stop your server? Well, you're going to type stop either right here or right here. So you're going to type stop and hit enter there, or stop and hit enter there. It doesn't matter. Either way, type in stop and hit enter, and that's going to shut the server down properly. Now, the thing about the CMD is you're going to have to press any key to continue to close out of that, whereas the other one just closes out automatically. Now we want to go ahead and go to our browser, and in our browser, we want to go ahead and open up a brand new tab right like this. And then up here at the top where you would type in the breakdown of XYZ, youtube.com, breakdowncraft.com, right up here at the top where you would normally type in a website, you want to go ahead and copy your default gateway. So come in here, copy your default gateway, in my case 192.168.1.1, yours will probably be completely different, and paste it right up here at the top and hit enter. Then that's going to open up something that looks similar but most likely completely different to what you see on your screen right here. The one thing that will be the same, there will be some sort of a login box. And in this login box, you're going to want to type in your router's username and password. Now, what is that? Well, you're going to be able to find it at the link in the description down below. This is how to find your router's username and password. It goes through 5 methods. Most people find it by method 3, by the way, where you can then go and log into your router. You will have some sort of login box, though. It might pop in from the top, from the sides, be in the middle. Doesn't matter where it's at, but you will need to log in using the login info you can find here. And nevertheless, once you've got that, we want to go ahead and log into our router right like so. And boom, we are now logging in. Linksys router. If you have any other router, I'm going to show you how to port forward on that as well. Not necessarily in this video, but in our how to port forward on any router video. This goes through all the top routers out there today, from Verizon to TP-Link to Netgear to AT&T routers. They are all covered in this video. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that if your router isn't mentioned specifically in this video, go ahead and go through the video anyway. Why? Because most routers just reskin software from another company. So while you may not have your specific router in there, your router software is probably going to be similar to a router that's already listed. So go through that, you'll pick up the terms, you'll figure out where to look, and all of that stuff. In a Linksys router, you're going to want to go to security. Now, for me, it's in security. For you, it may be in the admin tab, or advanced tab, or advanced tab, or the administration tab. It could be in the security tab. It could be in your firewall tab. It could be in your gaming tab, or your NAT tab, NAT forwarding. It could be in apps and gaming. It could be in port forwarding, just straight up port forwarding. I've seen it just listed on routers before. It could also, again, be in your security settings like it is for me. For me, like I said, it's in security, and then another thing I said, apps and gaming. And then it's in single port forwarding. So for me, it was in security, apps and gaming, single port forwarding, and here it is. Now, you may have like a big list like this right here. If that's the case, just go ahead and enter in the first one. If, though, you don't, and you're like me, you might have to add a new single port forward. Now, for the application name, you can name this whatever you want. I'm going to name it Minecraft. It's just identifying what this port forward is for. And then for anything involving the word port, P-O-R-T port, we want to go ahead and enter 25565. So external port, 25565. There we go. Internal port. Hey, there's that word port again. We want to enter in 25565, right like so. For our protocol, we're going to do UDP/TCP, TCP/UDP, or both. I have the selection to do both, and you make sure both of them are selected in some way. It might be TCP/UDP all in one line for you, but you want to make sure both of these are selected. If they aren't, go ahead and do this twice. Once for TCP, once for UDP, leaving everything else the same, but I can select both in one port forward. Now, for your device IP or local IP, this is going to be your IPv4 address. So in my case, that's 192.168.1.123. Yours is probably completely different, and that is perfectly okay. That is to be expected. So just keep that in mind. Perfectly okay if that is different. You may not even have a device IP listed. Instead, you might just have a drop-down box with all the devices connected to your internet. If that's the case, you want to go ahead and click on the device in that list that you're starting the server on. So most likely your computer. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and save, apply, all of that stuff. Now, most people don't have another box for an outside, external, or public IP. If that's the case, though, and you do have that, no worries, because everyone watching this video needs their public IP. So go to the description down below to here. This is our website where we'll show you your IP address, basically just giving it back to you. And your friends will need this to join your server, and for some of you, you'll need it in your port forward, but most likely your friends will just need it to join your server. So let's go ahead and copy this. No matter what, you want to copy this. Now, this is why it's so important, by the way, to not host this server publicly, because you can get everything about someone down the latitude and longitude coordinates from their public IP. Again, though, for us, this is blacked out. You can only see 100 here even, because you don't want this to get out to everybody. You don't want it to be public, so it's blacked out, except for the 100, as are, all this information. But you can see how easy it is to get this if someone has your IP. Now, Now we can go ahead, go back to our router. If you need this in here, paste, all that stuff. Otherwise, apply, okay, save it, you're good. Now we can go ahead and minimize our browser. Now I'm going to go ahead and start this server up. To do this, just double click on that run.bat file. The server's going to start up. I'm also going to get in game. As you probably noticed that this video, my computer is a bit laggy. We're putting a new one as soon as we move. I've got some of the parts already, but some of the other parts are on delay, and then so I had to cancel those because we're moving unexpectedly. Long story short is, we will very, very soon have a new computer that's awesome, that won't lag whatsoever when I'm recording, but this one does, so I'm going to do a quick jump cut until Forge is up, and our Minecraft is ready to join it. So the server is started, but Minecraft's not open because I did want to jump in here and mention that you need to make sure you're always playing Minecraft with Forge when you want to play on your modded server. If you try to play on Forge or your Forge server without having Forge installed, it's not going to work. And that holds true for your friends as well. Your friends must have your Forge profile right here and the mods that are on your server installed locally as well. We'll go over that a little more in our how to add mods video, but they need those mods installed locally as well as you need them installed on your server, and they need to be playing the Forge version of Minecraft in order to join your server. So on this we click play and we're going to be good to go. All right, I'll see you after jump cut to join the server. So here we are. Forge is now open, as you can clearly see, and we do have our servers running on the left-hand side. It takes up a lot of the screen at this point. We're going to go ahead and now click on multiplayer, click direct connection, and paste in our public IP. Again, all you can see is 100, just showing that that matches up from earlier in the video. Now, at this point, some of you will click join server and it won't work. It's just not going to work. And the reason for that is because some ISPs don't allow your basically server to connect back into itself, right? You're taking your computer and you're trying to connect it through the Ethernet, if you will, through the etherwebs, the internet, back to yourself. And some ISPs just don't allow that. However, some do, and in that case, you'll be able to join your server this way. If you can't for whatever reason, as long as your friends can join your server this way, no problems. You can always join with a local host or your IPv4 address. But for me, that's going to be the IP here. So now we go ahead and click join server and we will join right on in. As you can see, encrypting, joining over here on the left-hand side, mirroring into both of our consoles. Sorry about that jump cut there, but I knew we were doing frames. So we've joined on in via our public IP. Now for some of you, again, that's just not going to be possible. Your friends will have to will be the only people that can join that way. And if for whatever reason your friends can't join off your public IP, it's most likely an issue with Windows Defender or your port forward. The good news is we have an in-depth guide on how to get through Windows Defender with Minecraft servers. So this is going to set up how to, basically set up Windows Defender for Minecraft servers. It's helped over 100,000 people, almost 2,000 likes. That video is for sure going to help you out. And for many of you, will fix your friends not being able to join your Minecraft server once it's set up. For a select few of you, it is going to be a firewall issue on your router or an antivirus on your computer. That could be the case as well. But nonetheless, that is how you can make a modded Minecraft server. Now, I'm sure you're wondering how you can add mods to that server. Well, this video is over 20 minutes long at this point, so I want to go ahead and add that as a separate video, which is on your screen right now, as well as at the eye at the top of your screen and a link at the end of the video. So be sure to go check that out. We go over every single step of how to add mods to your modded server and make sure that your mods are correctly installed locally as well as on your server to make sure everyone can join and have fun and play with the mods. So nevertheless, I will see you in the next video. Come play with us on play.breakdowncraft.com, the best Minecraft server in the multiverse. My name is Nick, this has been The Breakdown, and I'm out. Peace.